Coach, we'd like to hear your side of the basketball kicking incident.
Alan, you used up your question. That was stupid.
I will not have the first losing season in 40 years at this university.
You are not getting the kind of athletes that we used to.
Yeah, but the program's clean, Chancellor.
It is time to tell Coach Petey Bell to take a hike.
I don't do well with losing, do I?
You've won 2 national championships. You've won 8 conference titles. I don't call this losing.
What efforts are you and your staff making as far as recruiting is concerned?
We got the inside track on some great ball players this year.
You get those guys, you are in the Final Four next year.
Let's get these guys.
He's never been coached. He's totally raw.
Neon, please try not to step on the children.
Okay, all right. If I couldn't play basketball, would you be trying to get me in college?
No.
At least you're honest.
I figure a white blue chip athlete like myself deserves something extra, about 30 grand. Like to have it in cash.
Get the hell out of here, Richie. Get out of here.
All the other schools are doing it, Coach.
I know everything. I know what Butch McRae's mother wants.
You really want your son to start out life by learning how to bend and break the rules? I mean, what's he going to become? A millionaire?
I did not authorize a car for Ricky, but you did authorize the friends of the program to do what had to be done.
He bought him, Charlie. I know he bought him.
We're gonna be on top again.
Did you cheat?
I think it stayed recording when I dropped, which was actually good to know that it does that.
All right, go.
Yeah, that means you can just tap out whenever you want. And...
Lada bitch.
Right, I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
It's going to happen one day. I wonder what the movie will be. Where somebody.
I mean, if it hasn't happened yet, I mean,
it's gonna be Air Bud when it's basketball June 2022.
Oh God.
All
right, go, Gogs.
Well, the Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is the last week of basketball June.
It is.
And all the beef is in the barn. We watched Blue Chips, Shaquille O'Neal's Blue Chip. Oh, I gotta grab my fucking goddamn it.
Go get your paper.
Tally. Stand by.
Go ahead. Yeah, we watched. So I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I thought Shaquille O'Neal was gonna be more prevalent in this film. He was like heavily featured in the advertisements for this movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, he's in it, but he's kind of barely in it.
It's Nick Nolte's
this
film.
is definitely Nick Nolte's movie. And then saying that out loud, I can understand why they wouldn't want to market it as such.
I mean, the ads definitely featured Shaquille O'Neal a lot.
The ads were 100% Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway.
You know what's funny?
Because at the same time, they were like going to the NBA Finals.
Oh, okay.
With the Magic?
It was like Shaq's third season and Penny's first or second, and they like went to the finals that year, I believe.
Yeah, that's when Shaq got destroyed by Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, and then Shaq decided, you know what? I'm going to put on about 50 pounds of muscle and just knock the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, because Shaq is a lean boy in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy, but he's like fucking lean.
Y'all probably Sean and Alec will definitely remember this, but do you remember the how many times they would advertise this movie on the back of comic books?
Yeah,
I remember seeing the like Blue Chips. It was just Shaq dunking a basketball. Blue Chips. It was all over the backs of like a ton of comic books back in the day.
And that's probably why I saw the movie to begin with.
Yeah,
I had never seen it before. You seen it before, Alec?
Yeah, I've seen this. I would say several times.
Yeah,
probably all back when I was younger, all within like the first few years of it coming out. It was like a movie when I was like, it came out 94?
94,
yeah.
So probably like in high school, like whenever we'd go to rent movies, that would be my pick. Rent Blue Chips because I love Shaq.
Not to bury the lead. Good pick. This movie fucking slaps.
Yeah, this is the best movie we watched.
I was like, Alec didn't like it though. I don't think.
What? Real? Oh wow, we'll get into it.
Oh, interesting.
I was pleasantly surprised with this movie.
To start, this movie has like an all-star production team. It's William Friedkin directing and Ron Shelton, who wrote Bull Durham and actually played college basketball.
Oh, that would lend to its. The movie feels very. I mean, we'll get into it, but I feel like the movie feels very authentic.
I mean, the movie is full of basketball players.
Yeah,
like I don't know if you guys watched the credits, but it listed all the players for each team.
Yeah,
and like I knew at least half of them as college or pros.
Yeah,
Wow.
and Marcus Johnson's one of the assistant coaches too, like former 70s and 80s NBA star Marcus Johnson.
Yeah, Rick Fox had a small cameo. The IMDb said Kevin Garnett's in it, but he did not show up in the credits at all.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think somebody might just be racist.
Maybe I don't remember what Calbert Cheaney looks like, but they kept mentioning him. And we'll get into it when we get in the movie, because there's a thing that kind of threw me way off with the Indiana team, but that's very minor.
Yeah. All right.
So, what you're talking about the mirror match between Bobby Knight and Bobby Knight?
Well, but it was more that Bobby Hurley played Bobby Hurley at Indiana, but he went to Duke, very famously. But Calbert Cheaney playing Calbert Cheaney at Indiana, where he actually went, which was, I don't know, it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have time to cram in enough games.
Yeah.
Just fuck it, Bobby, you're going to Indiana. but Duke is way better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into that, what did y'all watch this week? Sean.
Basketball playoffs. Alec.
It's still going on, huh?
Well, the Bucks are playing right now. They're wearing their goofball blue jerseys that I hate.
Those are ugly as shit. Yeah, I don't like those either.
I watched 5 things.
Damn, hell yeah, god damn it. God damn it, I've watched so many damn movies. Christ's sake.
Yeah, he says a lot of Christ's sakes.
I guess we'll go in order from worst to best. Although it's going to be hard to pick a best because
the
worst.
Did you watch Sean's homework?
No, I didn't. I need you to upload it. I don't have Netflix anymore. I need you to
shit! I'm sorry. I would have done that. I'm sorry.
I meant to say it the other day. I don't have Plex. I need to watch that.
I'll just give you my password, bro.
Just remind me. I'll write it down. Yeah, I'll do it tonight or tomorrow. Sorry.
The worst thing I watched was Dickie Roberts, former child star.
You had a rough week.
Is that David Spade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that movie
God.
has 3 jokes in the whole movie.
And one of them's the title.
Yeah. That movie sucks. Honestly, the best part of the movie is the closing credits where 20 actual former child stars sing a We Are the World type benefit song.
That's fun.
About not making fun of child stars anymore.
Aside from the Chris Farley movies, has David Spade been in anything good?
We talked about this. Me and Stacey were as we finished it. Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt is good?
I've never seen Joe Dirt, honestly.
Yeah, Joe Dirt's fun.
Yeah.
I have to revisit
I like Joe
it.
Dirt.
And I don't think any of you guys saw it. It only came out last year. The Wrong Missy.
Oh yeah.
I remember you talking that up.
It was funny. Yeah. It was. I was shocked how funny it was. It seemed like a terrible movie, or it looked like a terrible movie. But
is that that girl I find oddly attractive? She's very lanky and. Yeah.
I can't remember her name. I'm blanking on it. But yeah, that movie was funny. But yeah, we were going through it. We went through his whole filmography. Those are the only 2 movies with him as a lead that have been good. Everything else he's been in that's good is either him with a split lead or him in an ensemble.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a
great career. Not a great lead. I mean, he's made a lot of money. So who am I to say?
Just riding Adam Sandler's coattails for eternity.
I remember a million years ago, I was visiting my family for Christmas, and my mom, God bless her, she has the worst taste in pretty much everything. And she was watching. He used to be on a sitcom with him and Patrick Warburton and somebody else, and it was so awful. My mom was just loving it. I'm just sitting there what the? What
was the David Spade sick? What was it?
It's called Men Behaving Badly or something.
It's just a bunch of men in Arrested Development in their 50s.
It was awful.
Didn't he have another sitcom? He wasn't on Just Shoot Me, was he?
Yeah, he was in Just Shoot Me, and that show slaps.
Yeah. Yeah, have you
we talked about that a few weeks ago. That show slaps.
I think we talked about it last week.
David Spade looks like Vince Neil if Vince Neil didn't get fat.
Skinny Vince Neil.
Yeah.
His hair's all shoulder length and floppy now.
Yeah.
I watched The Sandlot, which slaps.
Oh, good. I was worried you were going to say that movie sucks. Now it's what?
No,
I love that movie.
That movie is. that movie is inoffensive enough that nothing's gonna take the tarnish off or tarnish it. There's
one of the few movies that I watched in like school when I was in like middle school, I guess, and I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, there's nothing offensive about it that could be get it canceled or anything, and it's just a really fun, wholesome movie about a kid that loves baseball and a kid that wants to love baseball but is a baseball idiot.
Yeah. Shut up, yeah. You run like a duck.
Yeah, that movie's great. James Earl Jones at the end is really good in it.
Yeah.
Even him pandering to a bunch of terrible acting children.
I think my favorite joke in the movie is when they're talking about the Beast origin, and then and then when people called up to report all the missing thieves,
that movie's fun, and Dennis Leary's in it, and he's good in it. He's not in it a lot.
Does he ask if they have any coffee flavored coffee?
No, but him and Karen Black play the kids' parents, and they're really good.
Yeah. He's like, now they got Puerto Rican players, they got Negro players, they got Cuban players. Can't I just get white flavored baseball players?
Just give me the great Bambino. Well, he wouldn't even like him. He's a Boston guy.
Oh yeah.
He wants
Ted Williams.
Ted Williams. Yeah.
Oh, what is it? Teddy fucking
fucking ball yard. Your ball game. That's it.
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
Watch The Princess Bride.
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie. That's one of my favorite fantasy movies ever made. It's really good. And that still holds up.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years.
Oh my god, Andre the Giant's so fucking funny in it.
You're the peanut.
Did he put it with the peanut?
I'm afraid I might crush you.
I love Wallace Shawn in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's good, and he's not in it very, very long. But yeah, he's good. Everybody's good in it. Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest is fucking menacing in that movie.
Yeah, he is until he gets confronted and he just runs away.
Yeah,
it's really great. It's probably my favorite Mandy Patinkin performance.
I really like that guy. I liked him in Dead Like Me a lot.
Yeah, I guess he has a reputation for being kind of a dick to work with, but he's a really good actor.
Yeah, he's solid.
I can't think of another Mandy Patinkin performance, honestly.
He was in that show Homeland, I think, but I never watched it.
Have you ever seen Alien Nation, the movie?
Oh, yeah.
I think a long time ago.
Yeah, he's the alien.
He's the Alien Nation.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the whole nation.
The whole nation?
Yeah. The title's a pun.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I just now got that.
Watch the Disney's freemium release Luca.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but
which wasn't good enough for them to make you pay $30 to watch.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
They just dumped it on Disney Plus instead of releasing it, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty. I thought for a week you had to pay extra for it, and then all of a sudden Liz was like, "We're watching Lucas." She's like, "Yeah, it's not." I think they realized that it wasn't bad. I saw it too. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like.
I want to know how many of those people are actually dropping $30 extra to watch something like a couple of weeks ahead of time. Like I don't know. I don't know. I like Black Widow is probably gonna have a fucking ton. Well, yeah, if you're dumb. I
mean,
if you don't know how the internet works.
I guess. I was gonna invite you guys over and do it, but never mind.
You can still do that.
Nope.
What's better, the movie Luca or the song Luca?
The movie, because I don't know the song.
Oh, I love that song. My name is Luca. I live on the second floor. It's not actually
from you. Yeah. It's about a kid beat up.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's Amy Mann, I believe.
Yeah. And finally, last night watched Chris Kattan banger A Night at the Roxbury.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
Your favorite SNL film?
I don't know if it's my favorite.
Does Wayne's World count as an S&M?
Definitely.
Probably not an S&M film.
Yeah, it does.
Well, then that's the best one.
I don't know, man. I've never seen it, but people seem to think Blues Brothers is pretty good.
No,
I love Blues Brothers.
No.
You don't like Blues Brothers?
Blues Brothers is great.
I
That
feel
movie's
like it's sort
awesome.
of overrated.
Strong disagree.
Now, Blues Brothers 2000. That's a movie.
yeah, John Candy's
I mean,
or John
I
Goodman's
like
Blues
Blues
Brothers
Brothers,
2000.
but I don't know. It's just
So there's only like 9 of them. I thought there were a ton, but there's not that many. There's Blues Brothers, Wayne's World, Coneheads, Wayne World's 2, It's Pat, Stuart Saves His Family.
Oh God.
Blues Brothers 2000, Night at the Roxbury, Superstar, Ladies Man, and MacGruber. So there's 11.
MacGruber might win.
It's Pat and Stuart Smalley both got movies. So Al Franken got 2 fucking movies.
No, It's Pat.
It's
not.
Pat is Julia Sweeney.
That's Julia Sweeney.
Aren't they the
MacGruber might
same
be my
person?
favorite. MacGruber might be my favorite one of that list. Honestly, I fucking love MacGruber.
I love MacGruber too, but man, watching Night at the Roxbury last night, like, and the Ladies Man's really good too. Like, it's
yeah, Ladies Man's. Pretty
I've never seen Night at the Roxbury. I'll be
So you're like, so basically with SNL movies, you're either like excellent or you are trash. There's no in between. Stuart Saves His Family is directed by Harold Ramis.
Really?
That's why he died, though.
Oh,
I mean, he lived a little while longer.
A minute.
It was a curse. It finally caught up to him.
It turned into It's Follows. Like,
it's like a Final Destination. It follows situation.
And Superstars is directed by Bruce McCullough.
From
the Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall?
Yeah.
I have seen Superstar, and it's bad.
Yeah, I've never seen Superstar. I've never seen It's Pat. I've never seen Stewart. And
Hot
I've never
take.
seen Blues Brothers.
Brain Candy's better than all the SNL movies.
Oh,
Brain
yeah.
Candy's tremendous.
I don't even have a hard time disagreeing with that.
Yeah. Night at the Roxbury is a lot of fun.
Is that on anything?
I think it's on Prime. I think we watched it on Prime, or maybe Hulu.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, once I watch something now, I forget.
Oh yeah.
As long as it's on a streaming. But it's really funny. And those two, Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell, had like great chemistry in those two roles together. They're like the dipshit club going brothers.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon's good in it, and I usually am not a big fan of Molly Shannon.
What is the plot of Night at the Roxbury?
So Doug and Steve Putabi work for their dad's florist company, but they really want to open a nightclub.
Relatable.
They keep getting kicked out of all the nightclubs they try to go to, or not let in at all. And then they get in a fender bender with Richard Grieco, to which he sees them moving their heads back and forth and thinks they're faking an injury. So he takes them to the hottest nightclub in town, which is owned by Chaz Palminteri, who immediately takes a liking to these guys and decides to go into business with them.
Wow.
To make their own nightclub.
Huh.
It's pretty funny. Like,
Is Richard
it's pretty
Grieco
funny.
playing Richard Grieco?
Yes, he is Richard Grieco.
I love that.
And they reference Johnny Depp. They're like, is Johnny Depp coming too? But no, it's really good. It's really funny. Dan Hedaya plays their dad.
I
And
love Dan
I
Hedaya.
love
Yeah.
Dan Hedaya and stuff.
Yeah.
Just that accent and that voice and his like and everything just cuts off so abruptly when he's like screaming at them.
You should watch Blood Simple. He's very good in that. That's a Coen, like one of the, I think the first Coen Brothers movie.
Or Clueless.
Oh
Or
yeah,
Fernando.
oh yeah, or
Really?
Fernando.
4? He's in
Yes,
Resurrection.
yes,
Yeah.
he is. He is in Resurrection.
Oh yeah, he's the general of the
Yeah.
of the space station.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Alec?
No, that's everything I watched. TJ.
I watched 3 things, and one of them is tabled. I'll start with the absolute worst. I watched Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oof.
It's if Tumblr turned into a fucking movie.
Ooh, that sounds great.
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. I have no faith in the younger generation. It's all over. The amount of praise is heaped on this garbage ass special. It's not even a movie, right? Like it's like a comedy special / like documentary / musical comedy, which is
I'm really like hot or cold on Bo Burnham.
I think he absolutely sucks. I've only had 2 exposures to the man. One was in fucking Promising Young Woman, where he put in one of the worst performances I've ever seen on film. And then this piece of shit, which is like I don't know. People like have said that this is like pontification on like existence and how profound it is, and it's just so. It's like every cringy like millennial comedian bit like stuffed into an hour and a half, and I mean I wanted to turn it off. Like I hated it. I thought it was so fucking. In fact, I did turn it off.
How is it like Evangelion?
I have no fucking idea. I'd like to pummel the guy who wrote that with a manhole cover. Like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
First of all, you have to be strong enough to lift a manhole cover.
Yeah.
Look, dude. When there's a will, there's a way.
I couldn't lift a manhole cover.
Not with that attitude.
An eighth as strong as you.
But you don't got a manhole cover puller, do you?
I have one of those milk carton pullers. It's pretty much the same thing.
That is kind of the same thing. Anyway... yeah, it was total garbage, and if you like it, you're a bad person and have awful taste. It's terrible, and I don't know. I have no idea why people love it so much. It like if you're not like completely like put off in the first like 2 minutes, then you and I are just not like compatible people.
We're not drift compatible.
No,
we
it
can't
starts
breathe
out
with
with
a Jaeger.
It starts out with like the most annoying like song I've ever heard, and then that just kind of like carries through the whole thing. It's just
was
like
it you that was saying it was like the Nostalgia Critics wall review?
Yes.
Like it was like okay.
Well, the Nostalgia Critic is he represents this like style of comedy that I can't stand, where it's just like. It's like 10 years ago YouTube where everybody's just like screaming at you and they're saying like awesome sauce and epic bacon and all that horse shit. It's like, stop. And this is just that. It's the same fucking thing, except now he's sad. It's like if fucking Nostalgia Critic was sad. It's awful. I hated it so much. Anyway, so that was trash. Then we got to move on to trash that I got really upset by because I was like kind of looking forward to it and I really didn't like it. I watched the new Alana Glazer A24 movie, False Positive.
No. It's no good.
I should have known. An A24 movie came out a week ago and nobody on like movie YouTube was talking about it. That should have been clued enough that like this movie is not very good. This movie is filled with really good performances. I think Alana Glazer is really good in it. I think Justin Theroux, who plays her husband, is good enough. I guess really thinking about it now, he's more like serviceable than anything, but he does a good job. And Pierce Brosnan, who plays like the villain, does a great job. The problem is this movie doesn't know. I don't think this movie understands what kind of message it's trying to give out. Like, by the end of the movie, it's so like muddled and confused as to what it's trying to accomplish. It's a movie about like Alana Glazer and Justin Theroux, who, by the way, as soon as I saw the movie, I was like, Justin Theroux's got to be like 50 years old, and Alana Glazer's like 30 years old. That's a slightly weird. Sure enough, I was spot on with the math. But anyway, that besides the point. They're trying to get pregnant. They can't get pregnant. They go to a fertility doctor, which is Pierce Brosnan, and Pierce Brosnan he seems like ambivalent, but he's also kind of creepy. And you know he's creepy because every time anything happens, like they got the creepy like chords in the background, but nothing else.
The dog with the shifty eyes.
I mean, I wish. No, but it's just like the tones of terror. You know, it's like just droning kind of sounds when he shows up, but like. There's nothing substantive for Alana to get weirded out by. She just feels weird. And then it's like a bunch of kind of loosely connected scenes where she feels more awkward, but they don't really connect things. This movie feels really jumbled together. And I think one of my biggest complaints is that like the movie at a certain point, I don't want to give anything away if anybody wants to watch it, but like at a certain point, there is a reading that everything you're seeing on the film, everything you're seeing in the storyline is actually happening, or is it all in Alana's head? Is she crazy? Now, the problem I have is I think that the very obvious reading of the movie is that she's a fucking lunatic, and that's a problem because the middle of like pretty much the entire message of the movie up until the ending is Men are controlling women's bodies. Men are specifically controlling Alana. Like, she's constantly in situations where she's put upon by men, whether it be Pierce Brosnan, the people that she works with, her boss, who's like handsy and kind of creepy, Justin Theroux, who constantly refers to her pregnancy as their pregnancy, stuff like that. Like, there comes a point where, because they've used so many fertility drugs, there's 3 fetuses, and basically the Pierce Brosnan's like, you're gonna have to either pick. You're gonna have to get rid of one of them because,
oh my god,
well, because there's gonna be complications if you don't. Da 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 da. So again, like, it's all stuff being put upon her. But then by the end of the movie, I think it's pretty clear that she's a lunatic. So it's like, the end point of your movie is bitches be crazy? Like, that's kind of contradictory to like your whole thing about like the woman is being put upon and everyone is controlling her and shifting her in the wrong directions. Also, if the literal interpretation of this movie is accurate, if what happens on screen literally happened, it is the dumbest fucking plot I've ever seen ever. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Does anybody care? I'll just say it.
No.
Go. All right, 5.
Wait, can I guess?
No.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, guess. I don't care. You're never going to guess this because it's so fucking dumb.
They try to impregnate her with the Antichrist?
No, I wish.
Okay, go ahead.
I wish. So that's the other thing. The movie like hints that there's going to be some kind of supernatural
did
thing.
Pierce Brosnan also blast her, and one of the fetuses is his?
Yes, actually, Pierce Brosnan only impregnates women with his seed, and is like, that's all he's doing. That's the movie.
That's that's based on like something that actually happened, though. I think.
Well, it's still dumb.
Yeah. Wasn't there like there was a fertility clinic. There was like 67 or something children were all this fertility doctors and not the semen that it was supposed to be.
Well, I suppose it's less dumb, but it's still dumb the way the movie like pulls it out, like, because it's not earned. And again, I don't know, like, I feel like the reading, because there's another thing where she gets this midwife, like, almost to the point of her pregnancy, and the midwife is this like, I don't know how to say this like without sounding like an asshole, but she's like a voodoo. She's got like a lot of voodoo aesthetic. Like, she's like a very like she's a black woman, but she's got like the tribal stuff all in her office, and she's got like the kind of, she looks like a witch doctor in her dress, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And so they do the fucking American Psycho scene where after spoiler alerts, after she gives birth, I'm not going to tell you what happens when she gives birth, but shit doesn't go quite right. But after she gives birth to her kids, she goes back to the midwife, and the midwife is in a normal office. She's in like normal, like, American clothes. And it's like, what happened to your office? It's the American Psycho scene. It's the apartment scene.
So she's crazy and also subconsciously racist.
Yeah, well, the lady's like, I'm not your spiritual negress or something. Her words, not mine. And it's like, what is this movie? Like, again, I don't understand the point you're trying to make with this movie. Like, you went out of your way, because there's also, I forgot to say, when the midwife is introduced, there's like the most insufferable 3 minutes of like this like PowerPoint presentation of like the healthcare industry and like the history of like birth, and it's like men have overtaken the sacred right of women for like hundreds of years or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't disagree with a lot of what they're saying, but like, there's ways to say it that's not like a PowerPoint presentation with like stock images over her dialogue. It's I don't know. It's a very, I feel like the movie could have been good if someone else wrote it. I think the guy that directed this has never directed any other movies. Alana Glazer was a co-writer on the screenplay. I feel like maybe if you handed this to somebody else to kind of flesh out more of their thought processes, you could add a better movie. Because again, everybody's trying. I mean, I feel like the performances are well done. I feel bad for Alana because she's good in the movie. She's trying. She shows her tits, which is great. Big fan of that. I've always had a crush on her, so that worked out. But yeah, it's not very good. And then the last thing I watched is Tabled, because I watched it with Gogs. So Gogs, go ahead.
I guess I watched 3 things. I watched 2 whole things and 2 half things. So
Why don't you, if one of the half things is Tenet, why don't you wait till after you finish the whole thing before you get into
All right, well then, yeah, I'll watch the other half of Tenet and get back to you on that one. I also watched, I meant to finish it, I forgot that I started like half tired and half drunk. I started watching that Berserk movie.
Oh yeah, did you like it?
It's fucking wild. Like the captain that recruits him's a man. Didn't realize that at first.
Griffin. Yeah. He's how cool is that first scene though, where that guy he's in that like the castle siege, and that guy comes out with like the big axe and he just like slices through.
It was fucking gruesome. I liked it. So I got to finish watching that. I watched Luca, which Alec already touched on. Pretty good. I would say it's one of, if not the weakest Pixar movie. I mean, it's fine, but it's not
fired.
It's not like, I don't know. I feel like Alec kind of echoed the same sentiment. It's not.
It's because it's about how are you going to do that to your own people? It's about the Italians.
I mean, I love the Italians.
How much gabagool is in Luca?
None.
What?
No gabagool.
But there is like so much pasta eating.
There's so much pasta. There's a whole there's a competition that involves pasta eating as like a center point of the movie.
I mean,
that pasta's got to be pretty mushy if they're underwater all the time.
Well, they have like training to lead up to it, and they're just the kids just eating like bowl after bowl of pasta.
I will say this though: there's this weird competition at the very end of the movie that like it's a relay race unless you don't have a team, and then you have to do it solo, which doesn't seem very fair. But that
is not fair.
It's not, but it's all part of. I will say this: like you expect Pixar movies to kind of deliver a little more like emotional weight, and this one didn't really. I don't know. Didn't really. Nobody got spoiler alert. Like there's no home invasion and spouse murders. So look out.
No spouse murder and no gabagool.
It is beautiful.
It is gorgeous. Yeah, it's very pretty.
Gorgeous. It's like, have you guys seen Coco?
Yeah, I liked Coco a lot. Yeah. I thought Coco was very good.
It's like the visuals remind me of Coco, but like underwater. But it's not nearly as good as Coco. Coco is outstanding.
Coco's very good. It also was the same animation team.
Yoo-Hoo, the movie.
It's like the same. Wait, leave Yoo-Hoo alone. It's like the same animation team. I think that did like Up. It would be my guess because all the people look more like Up than like Mrs. Incredible. But
so nobody has a thick Italian.
No one's got no one's got a dump truck, an absolute dump truck ass. But no, it's very pretty. It's good. It's fun. My kids like it. And then so we can talk about what TJ and I both watched.
Yeah,
which was fun. Dan O'Bannon's Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, what a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, it was fucking blast.
It's so fucking stupid, but like it knows it's stupid. It's definitely a
Dan
comedy.
O'Bannon wrote that
and directed it. It's one of 3 things he's directed.
Yeah. That chick is still super hot that gets like crazy naked for no reason. Her name's like Barf or Scratch or Skag.
No, her name is Trash. Her name is actually Trash.
Yeah, you got Trash and Suicide and Spider
and Chuck.
I feel like Sean's brought this up on the show a couple of times, but there was just like an obsession with like punks for like in the 80s, and like this movie is a pretty good encapsulation.
We're gonna live in the Dark Knight Returns future. Like everything was like that.
Like
Suicide.
Go ahead,
honestly,
Sean,
I think it's like the Road Warrior influence, or like I guess this is what the apocalypse is.
Well, they're like cruising around in what's his name, T-Bird's car from the fucking Warriors.
Suicide has like this like 57 Chevy that's got like spray paint all over it.
Yeah,
it's like falling apart.
It's like this weird ragtag group of punks, and then there's like girl from like where did this girl come from that's just hanging out with them?
You have a very eclectic group of punks. You had like the like hardcore like crust punks. Then there
was like a ska guy in there. There was like
chick. You had a black guy. You had the guy that was in Joanna Man. He also played DJ in Street Fighter. I forget that actor's name. He's been
he's great.
He's been in a ton of shit. Then you got naked girl that's like a stripper. Then you got girl that's just like preppy 80s like Valley girl. Then like half punk girl that has like blue hair.
Yep.
And then like a mod nerd.
Yep.
Who had like the weirdest haircut ever. He had like a He had like a normal, like kind of like a part haircut, but he just had nothing on the sides. Like he looked like Butthead. Like
it's pretty great.
It was awesome. So they want to go to a cemetery because one of them, and I quote, has never seen a cemetery before.
Well, they just ended up like they were waiting for Tommy from fucking Friday the 13th to get off work, so they're going to kill time in a cemetery because you're correct. One of them had never seen a cemetery before, so they end up having like a weird striptease road flare show, and then you get invincible zombies, which I completely forgot about. Like I forgot these zombies don't follow zombie rules, but they did establish the love of brains.
Tommy works at like a
medical supply
factory.
It's a medical supply warehouse that just happens to have cadavers.
But his boss accidentally got like some experimental army cadavers that he's just like, hey, check this shit out.
And then they get gassed and everybody. I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I remember it being a lot more like horrifying and a lot less goofy and funny.
Goofy as shit. I mean, like it's hilarious. At one point, they come across one zombie. And, like, they're like, well, how do you kill a zombie? He's like, well, in Night of the Living Dead, if you shot him in the head, they die. And he, like, stabs the zombie in the head, and it's still just, like, freaking out and writhing around. He's like, kill its brain. He's like, the fucking thing is through its brain.
Yeah, he's got a medical-grade pickaxe through its head.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. The movie's great. The prime zombie or whatever, the tar zombie or whatever they call him, is awesome.
Yeah, Tarman or whatever they call it.
Tarman, that's it, Tarman. And it also has the greatest ending ever where the government and the guy that works for the government, I guess he's like the Secretary of Defense or something, he has like a computer cabinet.
He's got a NORAD China cabinet where he can just call in nuclear strikes on Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Or Louisville. Was it Louisville? It was one of the two.
It was Louisville. But yeah, they nuke Louisville. That's how the movie ends.
They nuke Louisville from one of those fucking World War II Nazi railroad cannons. That apparently is just strategically located throughout the United States.
The nuke is like, so it's the one part of the movie they must have spent like $50 on because like the nuke launch, it's like CGI, but it's like 80s CGI.
It was definitely stop motion. It was weird.
But like the nuke looks like a bullet with the nuclear sign on it.
It's so goofy. It's so much fun.
It feels very Japanese almost. Like it has a
That's a good way to put it, actually. Like it's got that like
Guitar Wolf kind of.
Yeah, Japan has a lot of movies. They just add elements. They're like, yeah, whatever.
If you're comparing this movie to Guitar Wolf, I gotta see it.
Oh, you haven't ever seen Return of the Living Dead?
I still find the fact that you loved Wild Zero so much so endearing. I never would have guessed.
Fucking rules.
I love Wild Zero. Yeah, Guitar Wolf rocks.
Love knows no gender.
Go for it.
But yeah, this movie's like the fucking mortician who looks like fucking Nosferatu, like
the mortician who's just fucking. He's got a Luger. He's got a Luger on his hip. Just
like
also,
for what reason?
Also, he has one of the funny. Maybe it's only funny to me because I've had experience with people in the mortuary business, but like he has this line where he's like, embalming people isn't an exact science. It's passed down from generation to generation. I'm like, no, sir.
Yeah.
That is not true
He
at
acts
all.
like that. He acts like it's been folklore since the Egyptians. Like there's no college learning here.
No. Also, it's like he's hilarious when he's introduced. He's in his like I don't know his like embalming chamber or whatever. And he's got this schmuck. He looks like fucking Leatherface. He's just covered in blood and like gore. Like, the fuck. He also kind of looks like Frank after Frank went to the mortician on the Frank's Little Beauties episode. Like he said, oh, it's great.
This gruesome repair work. It's
God. Oh, there's also a wonderful scene where the two first guys that get exposed to the zombie gas, fucking are literally zombies, and there's two paramedics, and in this movie zombies can talk and they can respond to things
and they can run.
Yeah, but like they are dead, and the paramedics are like, well, you don't respond to things, you don't have a pulse, and your temperature is like below like 60.
It's room temperature.
Yeah, like you're dead, and they're like, what do you mean I'm dead?
It's like
the movie fucking rules.
Is it better or worse than Zombie Nation?
Oh god,
Better.
you know,
Way
we need
better.
to rewatch Zombie Nation for the show. I feel like
Yeah, 3 people still have wild card picks left, so
that
Yeah.
is true.
I was actually going to pick that as a wild card next month.
I don't. Can I even
awesome.
find it anywhere? Like we
No,
watched it on like Sci-Fi Channel.
I've got
Like,
it on DVD.
do you really?
Yeah.
wasn't it a birthday gift and like somebody like?
Man. Anyway,
Oh, maybe that's yeah. So that's
all
what we
right.
watched.
That's everybody. Let's get into our feature presentation. Blue Chip. William Friedkin's Blue Chips.
It's a freaking weekend.
What a career William Friedkin's had. Like
William Friedkin rules. He's
Yeah,
like one of my
he-
all-time
yeah.
favorites.
he's a very good director. All right, who wants to do it? Nobody volunteers. So Gogs.
Oh, great.
Oh,
okay.
hey, when are we going to reveal our goddamn it count? By the way,
We can
You
just
wanna-
do it right now. We can
Okay.
just so over
we
the course of the
guessing?
movie, over the
No.
course of the film.
Oh, yeah, let Sean and Alec guess.
Okay, how many times do you think that Nick Nolte says "God damn it" over the course of the entire film? And bonus question: how many times did he say it in the first 11 minutes?
We also counted goddams too.
Yeah, goddams and
We counted
goddams.
goddams and goddamn it.
Alec, you want to hazard a guess?
42.
I'm going to go with 63.
Wow, actually, those are both way over top. He only
Oh.
says it 28 times. However,
You made it seem like it was like
Well, he says it like go ahead, Gogs.
I mean, he says it a lot. I mean, the movie's not that long, and he says it 10 times in the first 11 minutes. He was on. Here's the thing: he was on pace to say it 100 and like what's the movie's what, an hour 40? He was on pace to say it 100 times, and then once he had to turn on the charm and saw his ex-wife and started recruiting these kids, he toned it down a lot. But the first 11 minutes, which I will say were shot like a boxing match. Like
Yeah.
William Friedkin knows how to make a sports movie. Like holy shit!
I'm glad I've seen this movie before because, like, I don't know if I was just having internet problems, but like it was like super pixelated and all the
Yeah.
motion scenes. But it was like a rip from the stars from like TV. Did you notice that? Like the stars logo pop up.
It didn't look very good. Well, and also this is like the only movie I've ever gotten off an internet truck that took me 3 days to obtain.
Yeah. Well, he specifically cast those guys. He didn't want actors. He was like, I care more about what the basketball looks like than what any of these
That
guys
was a smart fucking choice. That was like so. The movie.
But I thought. I'm sorry. I thought the basketball players. I thought they did an all right job acting.
Yeah,
in this
they're
movie.
believable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Nick Nolte as a coach is super believable.
So Nick Nolte has gotten so many DUIs he can't drive anymore. So if you look at my picture, this is what he does now in like LA. He's just riding his bike to like
It looks like Dr. Moreau. Like, what the fuck is going on? All right, so it's okay. So the movie opens in the middle of, I guess it's right before a game, and you are introduced to the Western University Dolphins out in lovely Los Angeles, California.
Pause. They're not in Los Angeles. They're in Louisiana. I think they're supposed. When he says L.A., he's using the state
No,
abbreviation.
they are in Louisiana. No, they are in Los Angeles, California.
No, they're in Louisiana.
No, Shaq is in Louisiana.
When he goes to see Slick, he says, "Hey, Coach, welcome home." I'm almost 100% positive this movie is Louisiana.
Alec, tiebreaker.
I assumed it was L.A. too because, like, when they're on,
They talk about all the
campus, there's, like,
California
palm
girls.
trees everywhere and shit.
Okay. All right.
They got.
I'll look into it.
I'm looking it up right
Okay.
now.
It would make sense if it was. If you're right, it would make more sense because they have the UCLA colors.
It's Los Angeles.
Okay.
Western University Dolphins in Los Angeles.
Okay, I was wrong.
According to Wikipedia.
Los Angeles. So
this movie, $35 million budget, $26 million box office.
It's only got like a 37% of Rotten Tomatoes or
I
something.
don't
It's kind of
understand.
also
mediocre.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Don't understand.
So I'd never seen this movie before. So this is my first exposure to Blue Chips.
Me too.
So movie opens right before you learn that they are on the tail of they're in the middle of a 4 days
pause real
losing
quick.
Go ahead.
I know we confirmed that it's in Los Angeles, California, but when he says, "Oh, he's in Algiers," and he goes, "Algiers," like he knows where this place in Louisiana is. This very small, like
that was a weird scene anyway.
That was a strange scene. I thought they were going to Algiers, like Albania. I was like, "Where are we going?"
I thought
French Algiers.
Well, they said that, and I was like, I remember Shaq being in like New Orleans, not like Europe.
Yeah,
but I was wrong.
So, movie starts with him just dressing down his team, like in just tremendous. It's like that scene from what's the show where the guy's like he plays the football coach. He's just screaming the Dan show or whatever it is. That real obscure.
The Ben Show.
The Ben Show. Where it's like, what's your two professions if you're fat black, rapping and tackling?
Well, I've seen you rap, so you better learn how to tackle or don't be black.
It's that level of just shitting on these kids. Like it's like the most unmotivational thing I've ever seen.
This intro scene though is amazing because he's like screaming at him. He does like the fucking James Brown of angry coaches where he screams at him, then he walks out of the room, then he comes back.
There's an encore. There's an encore to his anger.
He takes the fucking water dispenser thing and like tosses that.
Well, apparently he went and like shadowed Bobby Knight for like a few days somewhere.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, this is up there with like Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. Like he is just fucking in their ass. And like, so then it goes to the game, and the game is shot fucking brilliantly. Yeah, this movie has the best basketball in it of any of the basketball movies we watched this month.
Yeah. Well, this movie is the first movie. Go ahead, Alec. I'm sorry.
It might have the best basketball of any basketball movie ever.
Yeah,
it's really fucking.
This is the first movie we've watched that feels like a sports movie primarily.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So it's like it's back and forth, and it's cutting, and like William Friedkin knows what he's doing. He's cutting back to Nolte. Nolte's all pissed off. You know exactly what's happening.
Pause real quick, Gogs. You mentioned this while we were watching it, and I think it's a really good point. Is that Friedkin understands that interspersed between the really well done and well choreographed basketball scenes, the drama lies within like the characters. So like it cuts back to Nolte's like anguish. And like it's telling a story in the middle of showing great basketball action. Like I don't know. It's like something like I thought it was like really impressive where like I felt like he was doing a lot of stuff at once, and it went seamlessly for me. I was like, it was just I was sucked in immediately. I thought.
I mean, to me, it felt like, and I mentioned. I think I already mentioned it, and I mentioned it with you. TJ, it felt like the fight scenes in Rocky. Like you get what's going on in the corner, what's going on in the ring, back and forth. You're with it the whole time. It's awesome. It's so well shot. And
it's
all
awesome,
the basketball,
baby.
Oh, I hate.
It's a diaper dandy.
He says awesome with a capital A twice. Like, get a new shtick, you piece of shit. Anyway,
why should he? He's been getting that bag for 100 years.
He's getting so much bag.
He had a really shitty Super Nintendo game too.
Oh yeah, piss on his grave. So now,
The Super Nintendo game also had the word awesome in it.
It did, I know.
Of course it did. So now, back and forth, and they lose. I don't know if they get skull dragged. I think they lose by like 20 points or something. So it's bad news. He goes and screams at them. Then he has a press conference. Then Ed O'Neill's like
time out though.
I love his like Patton-esque press conferences where he's like,
they're great.
But it's important to know that this or it hasn't happened quite yet, but
not yet.
He's on the cusp of his first losing season
ever. He's got 2 national championships, 8 conference championships. The man has never had a losing season. People are talking about getting his head. Like, dude, this guy sounds like he's been like the great, like second only to the head coach from fucking the air up there. Like, this is the greatest basketball coach in the history of college basketball.
You got to remember these the like NCAA like Division I's like 200 schools, so it's like not all that rare to have coaches that have never had losing seasons. I mean, like Dean Smith probably has never had one, or maybe he's had one. Jim Boeheim, like it's it's not like the NFL where there's only 32 teams. These teams are half their schedule is just beating the dog shit out of like St. Mary's School for the blind and retarded.
Fair. So he does his press conference, and there's Ed O'Neill's like, "Hey, Peg," and he just asks him about
point shaving.
Quick side note. I was watching some clips of Married with Children, and I was talking to TJ about this. The idea that Peg Bundy was somehow unfuckable blows my mind because she was a smoke show. So moving on.
Also, it blew my mind. I know this is going to sound like incredibly racist, but it like blew my mind that a black dude wrote and created that show because it's so spot on, like white trash suburbs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's very
Even though Al Bundy, as a shoe salesman, lives in a house that I could never afford. But I think we had this conversation before. But
it doesn't make a lick of sense. They're eating toaster leavings.
The running joke of that show is that they were so poor they were starving.
They're eating, they're making snowballs with cough syrup.
Yeah, cough syrup and mouthwash. You want cherry or mint?
Anyway, so they asked about his point shaving incident. Nick Nolte gives him a bunch of. He fucking treats him like Donald Trump at a press conference, calls him fake news, and continues on.
Yeah.
So now
it's important to know that Nick Nolte is very staunchly anti-violation.
Nick Nolte is he prides himself on running a very clean basketball program. He's done all this very clean, 100% clean. So he's like, he's very insulted as far as he knows.
So he thinks.
Yeah.
So then,
dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So now we're looking at, we got one game left on this losing season. We don't know what we're going to do. And there's talk about how we're going to recruit new kids. And he goes to his ex-wife's house because she tapes all the games because she's wet for basketball, but not for him.
Can we talk about how great she is in this movie? She's like really outstanding. Good. That bit of dialogue where it's like, oh, cutting out hearts is hard. It's like not as hard as pumpkins. Like, I don't know. There's something about that was like really cute.
It's snappy and good. Like, she's very good. I don't think there's a bad performance of all the like name brand actors. There's not a bad performance.
I thought she was really good. I feel like their relationship is kind of strange to me.
It is weird.
Plus, she was in Battlestar, and that always makes me happy.
Yeah.
Independence Day. That always makes me happy.
Oh, she was there. She was the first lady in Independence Day. That's right. And then she was the president in Battlestar.
Yeah.
So then, you're basically they're like he tones it down for the next game. He's like, look, they show like a coaching montage, and then
you got to remember too, Tony, the star player, is failing TV.
Tony's failing TV, but he's knocked up his girlfriend. But this is actually really good. It's a really good scene though, because like after the first scene you get introduced is this dress down scene, but then when he's coaching the kids up, you can tell there's a lot of rapport and
he
love
genuinely
and respect.
Cares about these people. There's like more character development in the first 10 minutes of this movie than probably any movie we've watched in the last year.
It's really good. So
also, as silly as it is, the scenes of him coaching up people, I thought were actually really well done. They seemed very
excellent.
Yeah.
Because it's not like teaching them how to dunk. He's teaching them fundamentals and footwork. Like, it seems like what coaches would be doing. Like, it's
they're getting for a mainstream movie, they're getting kind of deep into the weeds about basketball offense, which I appreciated, but I don't know if that turned people off or not.
I loved it. I thought it just felt very authentic. I was like, this feels it really kind of sold the immersion. So now they're getting ready for the next game, and he's got a much different kind of tone. It's more like, look, you guys can do it. I believe in you. Tony, you're in charge of executing this. Let's go. They go through, they play their last game. They lose. So now they've lost. I think they were 12 and 15, or 12 and 13 this season or something like that. They were just under 500, whatever it was. He has his last press conference, whatever. He's, blah, blah, blah. Now it's time to recruit. What are we going to do? All right, well, let's go find these new kids. So there's, he hears about Penny Hardaway.
Oh, pause.
Yeah.
We get he didn't show up in the rest of the movie, but we got Arliss in the mix.
Yeah. It's weird that he's in that for 10 seconds and never shows back up.
One scene never comes back.
I really wish that they just would have named him Arliss too.
Yeah.
That might have been before the show, though. I don't know.
Or Knox, either way.
Yeah. Gog said Arliss, and I said Knox. And I went King of the Wicker People.
Yeah, it's great because he calls Bob Kane a dick in Batman.
That's right.
So then they're like here are your big recruits. So you want to go after this guy, Butch Cassidy. What was his name? Butch
McRae.
Butch McRae and
Ricky
Rowe. So Butch McRae
and you forget.
Well,
they don't know about Shaq.
They haven't gotten to him yet. Shaq has the greatest name in fiction.
Shaq has the name of a cyberpunk hooker detective.
The next time I have to start a character in any video game, his name will be Neon Bordeaux.
Neon Bordeaux is the greatest name I've ever heard.
So so the you're looking at Butch McRae and Ricky Rowe are probably top two recruits, in the nation, right? So he goes to Chicago. He's watching Penny Hardaway, who's Butch McRae, play. All the other coaches, the coaches all like mafia dons. They're all watching him play.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian's very prominent in there, and I think Boeheim might also be in it. I didn't check the cast, but
yeah, it's Boeheim, Tarkanian. Shit.
Is he the father of dragons? Who the hell is that? I don't know who that is.
He was the coach
Jerry
of UNLV when Larry Johnson went there, and they made every recruiting violation in the history of college sports.
Yeah, so appropriate. He's in a movie about recruiting violations in college sports.
Oh, actually, I forgot to mention something. There's an interesting scene where you find out to become the AD at Western University. All you can do is hit 20 free throws in a row because this guy is nasty from the line.
Well, you also have to be incredibly Jewish too.
That's Bob Cousy.
That's Bob Cousy, really? Oh,
yeah.
Now he's Mohol royalty because he was the basketball advisor in the era up there.
Like, so, if somebody's shooting a basketball in this movie, they're somehow a professional, either American or international basketball player.
I bet you Cousy's in the movie because Friedkin is like a world-renowned Celtics freak. Like,
oh, really?
Well, yeah. I think he is a like a New England guy. I think. Yeah. Pretty sure.
Well, so you have this really great scene where the AD and Nick Nolte are talking this before he goes out recruiting, and Nick Nolte's kind of bearing his soul about what he's going to do and how we're going to do it, and how much he hates the idea of recruiting violations. But then
it's a great scene because he's asking him to like bless him to cheat. You know what I mean? Like he's wanting him to tell him to do it.
Right, and he's like,
"No, I was way wrong. William Friedkin's from Chicago."
Yeah, but he's like a big
the AD just keeps Bob Cousy just like he won't admit it or say anything, but he's like the football team's in the 10 straight whatevers.
Yeah.
He won't say that they're cheating, but he just keeps like throwing that back at him.
Oh, and then so I forget. I might get the order of this wrong. I forget if it's before or after he sees the kids. It might be before. He meets up. I'm gonna say it's before. He meets up with the senator from Air Force One who catches one in the brain. Who's just walking around with big titty ladies and is handing out money to everybody. Yeah.
Dude, that guy is. He was in Air Force One. He played the.
He literally just said that.
Basement Lord, I got a gas leak in the apartment.
So I think that was before he meets any of the kids, and he's like, and once again, like fucking.
He meets. I can't remember. I think he meets the first kids first, and they both like tell him what they want. And he's just like, no.
Yeah. Well, this movie also has another insane cameo where Louis Gossett Jr. just shows up for 2 minutes and
just chews the scenery. Like Louis Gossett Jr. is so good in these like 3 minutes.
Where he's doing his fucking slave auction in the middle of the fucking the principal's office.
But that's another great scene because it shows it like Louis Gossett Jr. comes in there, dresses like he gives this slave auction speech to all the coaches, and then he kind of like smiles, winks, and nods, and just shows like the level that Pete was at. The Nick Nolte's character's like, all right, Nick, come Pete, come to the back. Like he gets to the head of the line. Like he's clearly the best. Like he's the most renowned coach.
I love when they go see him and it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. He shoots too much. They're like, yeah, he shoots too much. It's like, yeah, I don't know. He's a little undersized or whatever. It's like, you don't want him. Like,
yeah. He's not
like
offense.
It's like the GMs of teams trying to talk the agents down about whether they're going to give him a smaller contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little too short. He's the best player in America.
Yeah. So you meet Penny Hardaway's mom, who is the secretary from Scrooged, and she's like a no-nonsense Alfred Woodard.
An Academy Award-winning actress. Not just the mom from Scrooged.
Well, but she's also that, though.
she is also that. I knew before you even mentioned it that that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, I love that movie, so shout out Alfred Woodard. So she's
great, by the way.
She is one. Like I was talking to TJ about this. Like she pulls off the.
Yeah,
she's not like. She's not like in. She's not like. If this was He Got Game, right? She would be working her angle and not give a shit about Butch.
Yeah.
But this is like she.
Well, she understands.
She's not menacing about it. Right.
Is a resource, you know what I mean? And it's like I gotta get my family out of here. And if this is how we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it this way.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So she's excellent, and she sort of says, "I want a new job, I want a house with a lawn. That's what I want. My kids to go to good school. That's what I want." And and then you get the first
of all the religious, like
I was Catholic, yeah. So Nick Nolte's a Catholic in this scene. So then he goes to he's going, instead of being in the south side of Chicago or whatever, he's going to like Pig's Knuckle, fucking Indiana. It's like French
Lick.
The home of Larry Bird, the hit from French Lick.
So, and you actually have Larry Bird there just shooting hoops around the town, which I just always assume he owns.
I do love that. Pete pulls up, and Larry's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, just driving through French Lick."
So then you meet.
I do love that. Like everybody in the world owes him a favor. He's one of those guys that's like,
he's
like so squeaky clean and like helping people for so long.
Yeah,
that everybody owes like not necessarily owes him something, but wants to help him out.
Yeah. So then they take him and he meets Ricky Rowe, and Ricky Rowe lives in this. I don't know, Cletus the Slackjaw yokel shack.
Yeah, he really does.
He lives in, what's that movie Lori Petty directed? Oh, fuck.
Tank Girl?
No, it's the Blackjack. I forget what it's. Anyway, he lives in the Winter's Bone house.
Yeah, I was going to say, he lives in fucking Winter's Bone is what he fucking lives in.
And he's hanging out with his dad, who is not the dad from Varsity Blues, and they want a new tractor. And I guess he just doesn't want just like a bunch of like Ricky wants money.
What did you say, Cox? What
does this farm produce? Desolation? Because the place is awful.
It's a fucking turd farm. Like, what the hell do you guys grow here?
Yeah, it's like the fucking grapes of wrath he rolls into. But so he also like, did you get the feeling? Because I hadn't seen this in years, that he's like trying to say, "I want a white coach for my son" without actually saying it.
Oh, I missed that part. But
what are you saying? The Southern Baptist versus
the God fearing, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, he had to do he had an
Ace. My drift.
He had an Ace Ventura-esque red or white clam chowder password moment. But it's like
his son though, Ricky Rowe, is hilarious because he's just like a big coomer. He just like wants to fuck.
Which it's all he wants. It's just like it's all about pussy with that. He likes basketball and pussy.
I don't even know if he likes basketball. It's just a vehicle to obtain more pussy.
I mean, respect,
Yeah. So I love that they had that little detail of building the little like plywood ramp under the hoops so the ball kicks back out to him when he shoots. I don't know. Yeah.
So everyone says their needs. Everybody else says like, I know what it's like. Actually, the dad has a really great line. It's like, those aren't my laws. Those aren't my rules. Here's what I want. Which is, if that gets thrown at Nick Nolte quite a bit.
Yeah.
So then he recruits, he gets these guys, and then he gets a tip about this guy, Neon Bordeaux,
from Slick.
Yeah, from
who's
the pre-1990s fucking Snap Wilson Falcon shows up.
That dude's name in real life is Slick. Spelled SYLK.
Hell yeah.
Or SLYK.
That guy rules.
He's like, there's this kid you gotta see. I guess, and I kind of missed this, so someone can fill in the blanks. Neon used to be in the Army.
He just went straight to the Army from high school.
So he's college eligible.
Yeah,
he's out of the Army.
He outgrew the Army. They said he got too big, and they couldn't find uniforms that fit him or something.
Well, yeah, there's height and weight, not only like requirements but limits. So once you're so big, I guess like you can't be
too big a target. They can't put you in a submarine. So now the
famous Army Submarine Corps.
Hey,
gotta sleep in the torpedo tube. You're too long.
Yeah, we'll fire you with the Japanese. So so he takes him to play. He's playing in this he's playing in The Shelter from fucking 8 Mile. Like
he's playing in the fucking
warehouse
arena from Pit Fighter.
But like the crowd is both. It's like Schrodinger's crowd. The crowd is both there and always arriving at the same time because everybody's like running to it.
I gotta say, and this is another tip of the cap to William Friedkin. Shaq is such a goddamn specimen. Like just seeing him on film, like he looks like Like, you know what I mean? He looks something mythical. Because
I am gonna we'll get to it, but like in the final game, in the game where Shaq, like there's scenes where Shaq dunks where TJ will test. I audibly was like, "Ooh!" Like
he's so big, it looks like the movie's shooting on 7-foot rims. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he's just so freakishly huge.
He's fucking enormous. I mean, he's huge, but like, you know, we talked about like I showed out that like weird picture of Manute Bol in the fucking pool, but like Shaq is enormous, but he's big everywhere. He's like a fucking like Brock Lesnar.
It's like the sliders were just turned up.
He's he's like 100 feet tall, and he's just all muscle everywhere. Like
he's the Ubermensch.
Between this movie and I think last week was like his birthday or something.
Yeah.
So like Bleacher Report had some highlights up of Shaq from like his youth, and I was watching some of the highlights, and there's this sequence of like probably 15 plays. I think it was from a whole playoff series. It might have been the finals, where Dikembe Mutombo, the defensive player of the year, and Shaq is literally manhandling him like a child, just throwing him around like a rag doll.
What the hell? How the hell are you going to defend
hilarious?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think what he could have even been more if he wasn't so goddamn lazy. Like he was just like a lazy player. Like he was just like such a freak. Nobody could stop him. Like if he was like an Olajuwon type,
he didn't put in work.
And I I'm all about that because like I'm trying to put in as little effort as possible too. Like so.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah,
he did fine.
He owns Papa John's now.
Yeah.
Did Shaq ever play football growing up?
I don't know.
I'm sure he did when he was before his growth spurt.
I feel like when you grow up in the South, you play every sport. Like,
well, I feel like especially like gifted athletes, like in their youth, they tend to play like every sport.
Yeah,
because they're just.
And he was a kid prior to like AAU and McDonald's All-American type, where it's like you're specialized in something when you're 9 years old.
Yeah.
You're good at basketball. That's all you're doing for the rest of your life.
They start you in the factory, and that's all you get. So he goes to see Neon play, and then he gets to talk to him afterwards, and immediately Shaq, I thought, had a lot of presence and was like very like
he's good in this movie.
He's very good in this movie. Like he's talking about just take the SATs. The coach says a culturally biased.
Also, damn it,
they're talking back and forth, and Shaq's like, "Now be straight with me. If I couldn't play basketball, would you be trying to get me into college?"
Yeah, no.
Well, at least you're honest.
That's great.
What I thought was funny is that like the SATs are culturally biased is played as a joke in this movie, but it's actually very true.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things about this movie that are very true.
Well, he's like, fucking Nolte's like, everything's culturally biased, and then the scene just ends.
So then now you find out about Nick Nolte.
They go to the church.
His third religion.
Pentecostal. Hell, I grew up in the Pentecostal church.
Nick Nolte is so good in this movie.
Yeah, he's great.
So he gets all three of them to show up at Western, and then we get yet another fake roll call introduction. Go ahead.
This one is better than the rest of them because this one is believable because they just got the announcer to say their name. They didn't have some video package where they're already wearing the jerseys and they have like.
And they also lied about all their heights. Like,
that was funny,
which was hilarious.
Well, you'll be that tall when you go here.
Yeah, that's how tall you'll play.
You know, I guess it's worth saying now. It's kind of weird how many of the scenes in this movie are repeated in both The Air Up There and in He Got Game. I feel
like stock,
very similar movies, like in a lot of respects.
Yeah. So. He gets the kids to come. They have a workout. They're playing with the rest of the team.
They scrimmage against the varsity team and dominate the varsity.
Yeah, they play like 3-on-8 and just dismantle them. So they go and they're like, it's really great. Everybody's happy. People are interested.
And then Ricky Rowe goes and blows it.
Ricky Rose shows up. He's like, like 30,000 in a knapsack. I know how this game's played.
I thought he was really good in this scene where he's like, I'll take one of them gym bags that you got there. And, I've gotten that kind of money other places. So,
yeah, it's really good. It felt like this scene felt very Any Given Sunday, like seedy underbelly sports movie kind of feel.
Yeah, I didn't think the kid, I felt like the kid didn't even think it was seedy. This is just how
it's just business.
He's been treated since he was However, also people giving him things, he doesn't see it as wrong, or even can't even conceptualize that it's wrong.
Well, not even. I'm not saying
what's been done for him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he plays it like CD, but I'm saying like the way that freaking shot it, like the way that like the tone
it looks
changes.
Like a police interrogation.
Like
and
also,
Nick Nolte,
his face just drops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out.
God damn! Now the goddams are back. So we lost him for a good 45 minutes.
For Christ's sake!
So then,
get your shit and get out of here. Go home. He's always telling that kid to go home.
Yeah. So he gets into that, and then he decides to he makes the deal with the devil, and he goes to talk to Happy about how this is all going to work out. And then next thing you know, we're
dressed like no man would ever be dressed. He's wearing like white Daisy Duke shorts with like socks pulled up to his knees, like a tennis racket in his hand, and a sweater wrapped around his neck, even though they're in L.A., presumably in the summertime.
He's dressed like Leland Palmer if he was in the Big Lebowski dream sequence. Like, it just like...
I got that joke. But Happy's always crushing some new puss every time you see him. Like, there's always some like hot chick. I love.
He's like, I don't know what his job is, but it must be just in like big hit distribution.
It's generic business, like generic crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. Happy ends up later in the movie making points that like are supposed to make you not like him, but like
they're
I totally
100% correct.
We'll get into it by like our final review, but like ultimately the point of this movie that paying players is wrong. I'm so against. Like they all should be paid. Like,
and then SCOTUS agrees. So now what?
But then when I watched this movie, then I was like, yeah, they shouldn't be paid. They're going to college. They're
getting a free education.
Yeah.
He makes so many good points. It's like $40 million.
1994 Alec was way dumber.
Yeah.
2021 Alec.
Yeah, 1993 Sean was very upset with Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Concur.
So now we're treated to like, and this won't be the last time I make a Goodfellas reference, but a Goodfellas-esque like montage of everything's coming up great, of just people getting handed cars and money and houses. And there's actually a really great scene in them. So Ricky Rowe gets his sack of money, and fucking Butch's mom gets her house. And there's this really great scene where they show up with a Lexus and they hand it to Neon, and Neon isn't like, hell yeah. He's like, I didn't ask for this. Like he didn't. Like,
and the handler's like, not my job, not my problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's your keys.
So, you know, and that's a nice little, just a little really tiny nugget of character building. Like it's fucking so good. So then, so now they got him on board. Everybody now Ed O'Neill is fucking losing his mind, and he's like, he got all three of them. It's got to be something dirty.
They cut to fucking Zodiac for 2 minutes.
Like he's got to be dirty. He's got to be doing whatever. So then you find out like stuff's going well, and it's not. We haven't had the first game of the next season yet. We're still in training camp and practice, and school's starting. The kids are going to class. There's a great scene in the English classroom where Shaq, you know, gives his professor the business. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over a key point because Nick Nolte's ex-wife is a preschool or she's a kindergarten or first grade teacher, and she apparently in the past used to tutor kids. And she had an affinity for
the guidance counselor or something at the college. Like she worked at the college, like I think. Prior.
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. I love the scene where he's trying to get her to tutor Shaq.
Yeah.
And he's like playing with the kids, like about to like stomp.
Oh yeah. She's like, please put him down. It's like, okay.
Please don't step on the children.
But I just love. I remember the lines even from when I was a kid. Like. Yeah. She's like, for you, no.
Yeah.
For Neon, maybe.
Yeah.
Or for Tony, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So you find out she had an affinity. Go ahead.
She also knows a lot about what's going on, even though he's lying to her. It's like, how's Tony doing? Oh, he's doing really good. Really? Because I heard he's failing TV. It's like, well, TV's a hard class. You just watch the
No. Yeah. It's great because he uses the same line that Tony says to him. I love that. What's it called? The reincorporation or whatever.
Yeah.
So her character is great because you can just tell she's just as fucking into this program as he is. Like you can tell why. Yeah,
I forget real quick. Ron Shelton, the guy that wrote this, also like originally Shaq was supposed to be in Compton, and he spun that off into the script for White Men Can't Jump, which he couldn't get produced.
Really?
Until this movie came out. There's something, or no, this movie he couldn't get made until White Men Can't Jump came out and made like $1 billion.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember
that was a good one.
That was a good
Juice was a good. Yeah. So now, so he talks her into helping him with his SATs. Neon gets up from a 540 to like a 9 something. He's in. He's eligible for college. Now he's in college. Everything's going well. Things are going. This is like heyday. Everything's great. Nick Nolte's world is going well. And then then Butch shows up, and this is now the first of what become many conflicted moments for Nick Nolte, which Nick Nolte does a tremendous job of, which is him going to wait, is this before or after the TV thing where Butch shows up?
This is before.
So Butch shows up.
The TV thing is what sets him off to go find out about Tony.
That's right. So Butch shows up.
Which that might be the best scene in the movie where they're all sitting there.
Yeah.
Watching the film for like 10 minutes.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's
trying to convince themselves of shit that they already know.
Half the people in the room are in denial, and then the one guy that has no connection
wasn't there
is like obviously he's like, it's obvious. I thought it was brilliant.
He was that Tony was my guy.
Yeah.
He is clean.
Well, it's also like I'm kind of pissed at Nick Nolte in this scene because Butch is homesick and he's like, hey, if I leave school, what happens to my mother? He's like, well, if you got some kind of fucking thing, then you got it's like, okay, just ruin this woman's whole life. Like,
yeah, I mean, but that's like the whole, right? Like, so Butch is like, if I want to go back to Chicago, does my mom lose her house and her job? And he's like, is there someone you can call? So he calls Happy. I thought he was just going to pick the phone and fake it, but he actually calls Happy. Yeah. And Happy's like, you make him happy. You don't worry about it. I don't want to hear this shit.
Well, I think him not fake. I think, again, like, it speaks to his character where, like, he's going to make the phone call. Like, he doesn't want, like, he wants, like, he does, like Sean said earlier, like, he cares about these players. It's not like, it's not like a fake caring. Like, it's not like he just cares to win. Like, he actually, like, you know, he walks what he talks, you know, like, he cares about the characters. He cares about the players. And I think when he comes to him and says he's homesick and like he wants to go home, I think there's like a genuine empathy with him, but he's so fucking
he's completely torn, right?
Too deep.
Because if it was anyone else, he'd be like, I mean, obviously you can go home because there's no other ramifications. It's not gonna pull the rug out of your whole family's life.
I'm sure it's part of it is like, I went on my one thing for you, and you're gonna fuck me. You know what I mean? I compromised my entire morality for this.
Right. So now, so they have that scene, which is a really tough scene with Penny and him.
Yes,
and Penny does very good in it, I thought. So now the next scene, like apparently he's got like a weekly meet the coach or talk with the coach show or something.
Yeah,
and Happy shows
Gary
up.
Williams used to have that radio show.
Yeah,
they still have that kind of thing all the time.
Yeah.
So Happy shows up there.
Sucks.
Oh yeah,
or sucks. Coaches shows are the fucking worst.
They are the worst. Oh god, yeah.
I guess Belichick has one. Could you imagine what that's got to be?
He doesn't.
Like,
it's all dead air.
Answer anything? Yeah.
No. Yes. Just silence. Just no.
Yeah.
Right. It was like the mayoral minute when on the fucking was it Kurt Mark and Lopez where they would have the mayoral minute with O'Malley and they would just sit there and it's like, here's the mayor, Martin O'Malley, and just sit there quiet. Go,
Yeah.
Good time. So now he has that. He goes to the TV show. Happy's there. His ex-wife shows up. She said, "What the hell is he doing here?" She hands over their sex tapes. She realizes that Happy and them if Happy's here because
she knows immediately what's going on. Even though she suspected it earlier and he told her no.
And like the assistant coach basically sells him out, says, he's a friend of the program or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nolte confronts him, and that's when Happy drops the bomb of, look, I already own your players. 3 years ago, point shaving, that was me. Look it up. Yeah. And so then, like we said before, we have this tremendous scene where they're watching tape, and you got the two assistant coaches that have been there the whole time. You got Nolte, and then you got this guy who said he was with, I forget what team he said he was with at the time.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Nolte for like 2 minutes going through like actual videotapes.
Yeah.
Just stacks and stacks of them. Like, God, how awful must that have been?
I know, right?
Like, and not just have it all on a thumb drive. And be like,
the other thing I think was interesting about this scene, and I guess you still don't know by the time the movie's over. I feel like, I read the scene as the two coaches that were there were in denial, but they also might already know, and they might just be feeling guilty about what happened.
I took as they were in denial. I don't take that they. I feel like.
I took it that the assistant coach with the glasses knew.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I sort of figured. I read it like they were in denial because you can even see the one guy kind of tears up, like when he's cutting back to him.
You're also like this. When you see the scene, you're like, oh yeah, this guy directed The French Connection. You know what I mean? Like this is like a very like movie scene.
Also, The Hunted somehow.
It's super.
William Friedkin is
200 years old.
William Friedkin is Mulholland royalty now. He's been. We've done 3 of his movies. We did this. We did The Hunted, and we did Cruisin'.
And whenever we do, oh no, never mind. He didn't direct Exorcist or when I pick Sorcerer at some point, or To Live and Die in L.A.
Hell yeah, both those movies rock.
So you get this really, really great tense like scene where people are slowly coming to realizations, and the one guy who has no emotional connection, like we said before, he's like all over it, right? And it feels like the scene's
he's like looking at the clock again. Oh, that's the worst pass I've ever seen.
Know what this scene felt like that scene in Uncut Gems, like at the end where they're watching the ball game.
Oh yeah,
and there's just all this tension and like it's and they're reacting to it's great. So then Nolte goes to the wildest party in all of college parties of all time, and he fucking kicks down. And Tony's just playing guitar or some shit in his bedroom. Like he kicks down his door, confronts him, and there's this really, I think Alex said like. This super great, like tense, emotional scene of like betrayal and how like it takes forever. Tony's like, I did it once. I just did it once.
Yeah. And it's just for the gamblers. We won the game.
Yeah.
It's just for the gamblers. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
So then it's like, and then you just see like, and I was telling TJ this, like, and like I said before, like with Goodfellas, now we are in the third act of Goodfellas, where fucking Ray Liotta's entire house of cards is crumbling on him. Like, and his whole life is just a shit show. Like, he's addicted. His addiction to winning has led him to this. And he can't, like, the remorse, whatever. He's all fucked up. Like, he feels like just completely betrayed. He's telling this guy. It's an awesome scene because he is telling Tony all of the things that he is telling himself. It's like, you gave up the one thing that you had, the one pure thing, you gave it up and you corrupted it. And you can just see the anguish. I don't know, a lot of Nick Nolte. Yeah. The Nick Nolte performance in this movie is just fucking amazing. So now we go to the first game of the season against the Indiana Hoosiers with Bobby Knight. So it's like I say, it's the Double Dragon Shadow match. They are fighting.
Well, yeah, because Nick Nolte is definitely modeled after Bobby
Knight, right? Because I forgot to mention earlier in the movie when he gets his second technical foul for kicking a basketball into the stands in anger. So now you have this really great.
That's also a great. I forget. He's like asking one question as long as it's not stupid. Hey, what about that basketball kick? He's like, oh, you lost your question. It was too stupid.
Yeah, that was good.
But there's also a really nice scene like afterwards where he's like, did anybody get hit with that basketball? Like, did anybody get hurt? Yeah, like he's like genuinely, and it's not he's playing it for laughs. Like he's like genuinely seems concerned that he's like.
That's when he's trying to fuck his ex-wife.
Yeah. So now, so he's having this fucking moment. Oh, and he had this other this moment, this post Tony pre-game moment with his wife, where he's like, it's true, but she's already feels betrayed, and he is like the fucking bottom of the barrel right now. So he goes to play this game. I won't get into the details of the game, but Indiana's the number one, I guess, before the season starts, the preseason number one. The game is shot awesome. It is so much. It is fun. It's just as fun as the first game. It's back and forth. And you can see this is the only part of the movie, though, and I was telling TJ this when we watched this, the only part of the movie I did not care for is that over the course of the movie, like towards the end of the ball game, that you do this voiceover scene of Nolte like talking, or everyone like recapping all the salient points. Like we don't need to know. It's all on his face.
It's recapping like his guilt, like scenes that it just like his argument with Tony and like his arguments with his ex-wife. It's like, he didn't need that.
It's on his face. His expressions over the course of the game is telling you the entire thing. And he's drawing a play. And then when they finally win and they hoist him up on his shoulders, he just looks like this is the last place he wants to be.
The lighting in the basketball scenes is really interesting too, because it's like super dark except for the court. Yeah, it's like shot like an old wrestling event. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So then you get this press conference, which turns into the scene from Network, where he just gets to like. Ed O'Neill asks him about buying Neon Bordeaux fucking Lexus, and he's like, "That wasn't just a Lexus; it was fully loaded. It had all this, that, and the other."
And Happy says that it was a nuclear
submarine or something,
skateboard.
Something like that.
What does that mean?
But then you just have Nick Nolte just fucking unloads about all this.
You mean the scene where he single-handedly destroys college basketball in public?
Yeah, just confess, not just college basketball, but their entire sports, like the whole program, like the football program. Everything, like he just lays it all on the table, and then he has the "I'm Iron Man" moment. It's like, I quit, and just fucking walks out of the building.
Like, I know the epilogue is they get suspended from tournament play for like 2 or 3 years. If this actually happened like that, they would get what they call the death penalty. Like every one of their sports programs would be totally dismantled. Like,
it's like what happened to Penn State.
No, SMU.
No,
the team.
Penn State. It was just football, and only
you
they're back
kids.
already.
When SMU, when they had a similar recruiting with Eric Dickerson and I forget Craig, the other running back, they literally like disbanded their football team. Like they could not have a football team. Yeah,
it just came back with them the past like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they've been good. It's like, but yeah, it's only ever happened once. But the recruiting violations were so public and so egregious that they did that.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you get this awesome, this just really amazing scene by Nick Nolte, just going at it, like bearing his whole soul. And then he fucking leaves the building. He sees some kids, it's kind of, pressure.
Bro, this campus is where exactly?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he sees some kids playing ball and he starts coaching them up. And it's like that's a nice scene. Then you get, I was telling TJ, it's a weird coda of having like a fictional movie telling you whatever happened to everybody 3 years later. Like I thought I could just end it.
I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah.
It's like weirdly comedic though, the coda. Like,
it felt like, I told TJ it felt like Animal House. Like I don't but like it could have just been a shot of pulling away of him teaching these kids basketball.
Right before he molests them.
Right. Like here's this creepy old man, but and then the movie, then it's over, and it's might be, I don't know if I have a ton of favorite basketball movies, but if I can't think of one I like more than this. Hoosiers, maybe. I haven't seen Hoosiers in a while. This is fucking awesome. This movie, I can't believe it's got 38 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't get
like
it at all.
On Metacritic, like this movie is awesome.
Yeah. I think the movie was also like a little bit ahead of its time as far as like blowing up the recruiting scandals and shit like that.
Yeah, but it's
because back then everybody was still looking the other way, and nobody wanted to think about the potential that college athletes deserved money.
Yeah,
and we're getting it.
It's all
in a way like this.
Yeah, and that scene where Happy's like, "Those kids make nothing; they deserve something. What do you get? A 6-figure shoe contract so you can fucking sit there?" Like, it's like, Happy's correct.
Yeah, he's right.
Making a lot of good points, Happy.
NCAA is a slave state. Fight me IRL.
It's the fucking. It's the South. It's one of the South Park points they got right, where Cartman's like, "Oh, you tell me you don't pay your slaves nothing." Like it's exactly the same.
They're not slaves. They're college athletes. Oh, I'm sorry, they're college athletes.
It's bullshit. The NCAA makes $1 bazillion a year. And forgive my leftist takes, but they are exploited workers.
And then Ed O'Bannon sues them because they're using his likeness to sell a video game, and instead of just giving these guys some money, they're like, "Well, fuck it, we won't have video games anymore." Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and now they're gonna have to start paying them soon anyway.
Yeah.
But this movie, I thought it was really good. Anything we want to talk about before we get into Five Knuckle Sharps? I feel like we talked about it a lot during.
Yeah, I don't think anybody mentioned the hysterical scene where Nick Nolte's talking about why he divorced Mary McConnell. It's like, is that why you left the bitch? Like, it's just so out of place. Like,
and they all laugh about it. Even she laughs about it. She's like,
he's incredibly charming.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is.
He's got a very easy smile.
He still is, and he is like in real life. Like he's
He's
although he is the worst of the cranky old man analysts on TNT, like the worst.
He's just there to antagonize Chuck.
Yeah, he gets Charles. He gets
That's literally his whole job.
He's the best. He's the best spokesperson ever, though. Like he sponsors. He sponsors every product.
Yeah.
You've been watching the playoffs. Did you see they did like dodgeball or something the other day?
Yeah.
And he drilled Kenny right in the face. Like throwing that thing 100 miles an hour.
It's like, so he's like now he's like that Stallone scary where he's old and just huge. Like he probably doesn't work out anymore. He's just this massive man.
Oh man. Yeah. Five Knuckle Shuffle time.
Yeah.
Well, since somebody mentioned it before, Alec, you didn't like this one?
Like, I loved this. Like I said, I loved this movie a lot when I was younger.
This is interesting.
And in my older age, like, I don't know, some of the parts early in the movie especially with Nick Nolte in Chicago, were like, it just screamed white savior so much to me.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, that's fair.
It like pulled me out of the movie almost. It was so like.
But isn't that reality of like the college recruiting thing, though? I mean, they basically right?
It's still gross. Like I know what he's saying. Like, you know, who we are now, going back and watching, it's like, oh, this is exploitation. You know what I mean? Like, it's still
when I was younger, I was just like, oh, good, cool. This woman wants a job. He's getting her a job and getting him out. Yeah. He's really helping. But like, the whole system that put him in that place to begin with shouldn't even be what it is. And it really pulled me out of the movie, and it was hard to get back into it. Although there are scenes that I still loved and enjoyed, like, I'm pretty like one of those scenes. I'm pretty sure was shot in the same building. At least the external is the same building from Candyman and like Cabrini Green. Like that shit is like buildings falling apart that people are living in.
Yeah,
but that's still supposed to be like their apartment. And he's gonna come whisk Butch away to the West Coast and get his mom a job and a house.
Come on, you old bitch! Stand over here and guard this land.
It just like I still like the movie, but that pulled me out of it a lot. It was hard to get back into it after that. Harder than like
I can understand that.
I would have thought, and I was kind of out of it after that. But like I still like Shaq is great. Nick Nolte. This might be Nick Nolte's best movie that I've seen him in. I mean, I haven't seen the most recent Olympus movie.
I don't think you need to.
The one with all the drones.
Yeah, with the comical amount of drones.
Yeah, is that a flock of birds? No, it's drones.
I think me and you were in the theater watching something, and that trailer came on, and we both like fucking laughed out loud.
I think it was. It might have been watching John Wick.
I think that's
the third
one
because we're in that like D-box theater.
Yeah,
and it was so fucking loud. And when the drones came, it was like it was like a dentist drill in my ears. It was so loud. There's still parts of this movie I like. Like the performances are all great. The basketball is, I mean, honestly, probably some of the best basketball put on film. Like as far as in a fictional movie. And I like seeing a lot of those guys playing, like George Lynch, Allen Houston, guys that like pulled me back to 90s basketball when I watched like every bit of basketball I could all day, every day.
Allen Houston, who's still somewhat famous for when he's being interviewed by, I think, the New York Times, where he's like, well, Jews are upset because they've got Jesus' blood on their hands.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
That's a hot take.
Wow. Yeah, that's some kind of take.
Just reading, I didn't realize like Anthony Hardaway was in this before he got drafted by the Magic. I thought it was the other way around. I thought he was drafted, and that's kind of how he got into the movie with Shaq.
Well, he got drafted by the Warriors, right? Wasn't that? Yeah, because the Warriors traded Penny and like 3 first-round picks for Weber in that draft because Weber went number 1, I think.
Oh, was that the same draft?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't remember all those.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then Weber hated Don Nelson so much they ended up having to trade him for like Tom Gugliotta or some shit.
All right, Chris Webber. The intent was to draft Weber and pair him with Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my God.
Damn. What a front line that would have been.
Yeah.
As long as Weber remembered how many timeouts they had.
Oof. Never live that down.
No, I loved Michigan, and that absolutely gutted me. I was like, what are you doing?
Have you seen them? I know we're getting way off track, but have you seen Juwan Howard coaching Michigan and just looking like an old-ass, poor-drawn Will Smith? Like, I love Juwan Howard, but, like, he looks so goofy.
Yeah, and it made me sad that Penny Hardaway didn't have a more prolific career because he started out like a ball of fire, and then just injuries derailed him. Apparently, he's getting ready to be hired as the coach of the Magic, so good for him.
Yeah, he's the Memphis head coach now, right?
Yeah, he has been.
He's
for
also
the past
kind
4 years.
Fat, which is adorable. I think he's the first guy I remember to have like those Liz Frank fractures, like those foot fractures that everybody gets now because he had like a million foot surgeries.
So it was before they could really treat it well.
Yeah.
So it was early on. Yeah, that poor guy. I mean, not poor guy. I mean, he was in the NBA for like 12 years, but he could have been like an all-time great.
Yeah,
but he had some great Sprite commercials.
That is correct.
Oh yeah, it was Lil Penny.
Yeah, Lil Penny.
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this like a 6.
Yeah.
Like I liked it, but I like I said, they pulled me out of the movie so badly. Just that one scene, it was hard for me to get back into it.
Fair enough.
Oh God.
So I'm gonna give this movie a 9. Like I legitimately like enjoyed this movie. I completely understand Alex's criticisms of it with it is fucking white savory and not as bad as The Air Up There, but still pretty bad. But like I've never like I legitimately like it was like watching Kick-Ass or whatever. Like the scenes where they did like the alley-oops to Shaq in the final like it's so well shot. It's got such great energy. Nick Nolte does such a excellent job just conveying emotion just through like his fucking expressions. Like I say, it's shot. All the basketball scenes are shot like boxing movies. It's full of tension. You're there the whole time. I was fucking completely engaged, and I just loved everything Nick Nolte was bringing to the table. Like I liked when he was being charming and when he was being vulnerable and when he was being angry. Like when he started out like just like a super angry prick, I was like, oh, is this gonna be him the whole movie? But he shows such like range of character and emotion, and like the whole approach. I mean, I'd never seen this movie before, right? So I expected the movie to like focus on Shaquille O'Neal. I didn't expect the movie to focus on Nick Nolte, and it was a great choice because it's an excellent, like they tried to do it with The Air Up There, tried to set it through the lens of the recruiter coach, and that was but this was like
that was what?
It was it was the Heartbreak Kid when it was up. But no, I absolutely loved this movie. Honestly, I enjoyed this movie so much. If it wasn't for that weird voiceover scene and the strange 3 years later coda at the end, like I might have given it a 10. Like I was like, this is really, really enjoyable. So yeah, I can't think if this might be my favorite basketball movie. I'm gonna have to figure out if there's one that's gonna unseat it. Which is odd because when we watched He Got Game, I expected that to be like my favorite basketball movie.
You're gonna have to take down your fucking Like Mike poster now out of your basement.
Yeah, I burn all my earbuds.
He has that. What was that Kevin Durant movie we were talking about?
Oh, fucking Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
No, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
The
Thunder and
the Thunder something. Yeah.
Yeah, Thunder and something. Yeah.
So wait a minute, hold up. Is Uncut Gems considered a basketball movie or a gambling movie?
I'd say it's a basketball movie of sorts.
Really?
If Uncut Gems is a basketball movie, that's my favorite basketball.
I mean, the whole plot revolves around basketball. Like, it's pretty crucial.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite one. This is This is the 2 slot.
I don't know though. Is Bad Lieutenant a baseball movie? Because I mean, that revolves around baseball.
Not to the same extent.
I guess that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, I loved it. I thought Shaq was great in it. I thought all the cast of actors was great. All the cast of basketball players were very, they did a fine job. And fucking Nick Nolte was very convincing, like as a fucking basketball coach. I thought it was great. Sean,
it's a 9 for me too. Only 2 things stopping it is the voiceover that everybody mentioned, and the fact that the message of the movie is totally wrong.
Yeah,
totally on the wrong side of history. But no, I think it's like super watchable. I know this is a low bar, but this is our show. It had a plot that went forward and made sense. Like you understood why people were doing things, and they followed some kind of order that human beings follow in time and space. So like that had that going for it. Like cinematography's great. I thought the script was good. Like it's nice because besides the kids, everybody's like an adult. They're all like 45, 50. You know what I mean? You don't see that a lot in movies nowadays.
Yeah, no.
Unless it's like the fucking shipping news or something.
Or if they are 50, they're like Tom Cruise and they're like ripped and they have like CGI abs.
Yeah. But like that, even though the relationship was weird, Nolte and McConnell, like I thought it was very believable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is an intensely watchable movie. So that's it. Teebles.
It's a 9 for me, dog. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I do agree with what Alex said about the white saviorness of it, but I am super racist and believe in Western chivalry.
Chauvinism. Chivalry.
Yeah, that's what I believe in. I've had way too many natty ices. No, of course I don't believe in any of that shit. Destroy white people.
I just like Hawaiian shirts, and like I do for me.
Well, those guys have kind of faded away, thankfully.
Yeah.
So you can wear those with no shame anymore. But
yeah.
In fact, well, like I said, kill white people, murder me, and I will be glad to die for the cause. But anyway,
oh, you just want to die?
That's true. I really enjoyed this movie, though. I was really impressed with how it's a movie that focuses on more of the like boring aspect. I guess I should say, it focuses on what you would expect to be more of the boring aspect of sports, where it's like the behind the scenes, and it's a lot of the nuts and bolts of coaching and stuff like that, and it's very compelling. And I thought Nick, go ahead, Strong.
It also helps. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That like everybody, you can tell everybody involved in this movie loves basketball. Like nobody is like phoning this in at all.
And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I understand like the more deep terminology and like the offenses that they were trying to plan out. I mean, I really don't know much about basketball, but like it comes across, like it feels authentic. And I really liked it. I thought Nick Nolte was amazing. I thought everybody was good in this movie. I don't think there's a bad performance in this whole movie. And it's a movie that I think is like an hour and 41 minutes long, something like that. It moves. I mean, it doesn't drag. There's no part of the movie where I'm like, I could do without that. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the basketball sequences were great. I mean, this was we went out on a high note with this one. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of worried it was going to suck.
Well, it kind of like frames it almost like as a comedy in the promotional materials. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't even look at the trailer before this. So when I put it in front of the show, I'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, this is good. What's next month?
Wu Lai.
John Woo movies?
No, all Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Oh, yeah. Wu-Tang
like
movies.
we were watching like Enter the 36 Chambers and shit.
No,
movies with members of the Wu-Tang Clan in them.
Okay.
So anything with anything with.
Am I gonna have to pick that Man with the Iron Fist? That movie's
not
Please
good.
don't.
You can pick anything with Method Man, and Method Man's in a bunch of good
that
stuff.
movie's also like 3 hours long, if I recall.
Well, that doesn't matter anymore. We're in
I know what I'm gonna pick.
What?
I guess I'm picking Ghost Dog. Riz is in that movie for 10 seconds.
Okay. Anybody else have a pick, or is Ghost Dog going to be our first pick this month?
Should be I don't have my pick yet.
Alec, you have a pick yet?
No, I was thinking maybe How High. I've never seen that.
How High is fucking funny as shit.
I've never seen it either. All right, Ghost Dog it is. I like that movie.
Yeah.
Jim Jarmusch's Ghost Dog.
Yeah, or 187 with Method Man and Samuel Jackson.
Hell yeah!
All right. Wow, yeah.
Well, which one? It's your
no,
pick,
it's Ghost Dog. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, that's the show. Wu Lai is coming at you. Have a happy 4th and eat your own ass, and don't blow your hands up when you blow off your fireworks like. That guy on the Giants.
JPP? Well, he's in Tampa.
Well, he's not on the Giants anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it worked out okay for him. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He doesn't have a hand to put it on. But...
He's got a Super Bowl bracelet.
Oh boy, that was a good one.
Take that.
All right,
a lot of
everybody.
bets.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Later.